So welcome everyone to this hour-long class. My name is Leanne Anderson. I am here in Hawaii. And the topic today is New Year, New You. And just before we get to the new year, we want to talk about how you can use your Young Living account and get yourself prepared to really, I would say, nurture yourself. As we get into the new year, it's a really good time for us to almost like cross a threshold. And it gives us this reflective moment to pause and to ask ourselves, how can we better nurture ourselves and take care of this temple that we are inhabiting? And with a clear, clean body, we are more able to stay emotionally and mentally stable and be more relaxed and content. And from that space, better able to express our highest potential. And so I heard back from a friend, and I know it's the way we word, the invitation, but the idea of weight loss is what gets people's attention. I did hear back from a friend that says, thank you, I don't have a weight problem, so I'll skip this class. And I just want to really emphasize that it's a really touchy subject here, because I want to look at it as, again, being kind to ourselves and staying in an ideal weight that is really about our body telling us that we feel good. We are in a place of, treating ourselves in a way that doesn't lead to lowering our immune system or giving us joint aches, muscle aches, back aches. So it really is about living a way that empowers us to make choices daily that is not about restricting, forcing, or even being disciplined. It's really about giving in to how our body is telling us another way would be more joyful. So if that resonates with you, go ahead, type in the chat, tell me what you're here for. If living a more aligned way of your body is something you're looking for. Just type yes in the chat so I can hear you, see you, and feel you. Yes, thank you. That's great. So just as a introduction, I want to tell you a little bit about my journey of using Young Living products for my own healthy weight. So I'm hoping Christy Zittel is coming on later. She will tell us her story. But before she does, I'm going to tell a little bit about mine. So I went to night school to get my certificate in nutrition consulting. Why I did that, not because I was wanting to, follow the next fad diet or needing to lose weight. But I want to stress here that sometimes, and I had a friend tell me this one time, she's like, sometimes thin people are the ones that are more holding on to more toxins and or being more impacted by toxins. So what I mean by that is our body, and I want you to remember this always, our body is an intelligent, healing organism. And almost everything that our body does, I don't know, but I know our body is always trying to heal us and always trying to do what it believes is best for our survival. And so this idea of holding on to toxins in our fat cells is something that a lot of scientists have talked about. And every cell membrane has fat around it, and it is a way of protecting our cells from the toxins, and it holds on to the toxins. And toxins are maybe food that we eat that we cannot digest properly, maybe pesticides, herbicides, even, food that our body doesn't recognize. Processed food, for instance, artificial flavoring, or even things that our body just is inhaling from the air, whether it's exhaust fumes or just particulates in the air that we are taking in, and it goes into our bloodstream. So when I talk about toxins, it's really those things that our body is shoving to our joints, to our hips, our knees, our shoulders, our back, our elbows, where we are, it's not close to our organs that we need to survive. And so our belly, right? And that's the really good place for the body to shove all the toxins and then all the fat cells surrounding it. So I don't know if you've heard, there are people that mysteriously lose weight, and after they have gone through a deep emotional healing process. So the reason we hold on to fat could be from, really holding on to some kind of survival coping mechanism to some kind of trauma, or the foods we're eating is just not agreeing with us, or we're living in an environment that is just so toxic that our body our liver can't keep up. So we have our detoxing organs within us that is part of the support system. Okay, so I started off by saying I went to nutrition school because I was having issues with, whenever I ate, I had a lot of gas. I literally looked like I was 4 months pregnant. And I had people telling me or asking me, oh, are you pregnant? And literally, I had just eaten a meal that had lots of gluten. So for me, it was a process of finding out what caused inflammation in my body and why my body didn't absorb it. But generally, also, my detoxing system was not being supported. So let's start with that. Let's talk about what products Young Living has that really helps our detox system. And also want to tell you a little bit about my nutrition instructor, who said that, who asked the class, what do you think is more important, eating well or detoxing? And everyone said eating well, almost everyone. And he was like, nope, I would say detoxing is slightly more important. They're both as important, but because of our modern lifestyle, because of what we've been exposed to in our past before we became conscious about the need to detox, he really believes that detoxing is the number one thing we need to focus on if we want to be at an ideal, healthy space. So you've probably heard of our weight loss trio that so many of us use in little capsules. That would be lemon, peppermint, and grapefruit. So the trio helps with, first of all, lemon helps our liver to increase its production of glutathione. glutathione is an antioxidant that helps our liver to detox the, again, the toxins. And that's what our liver does, is process what our body doesn't need. And then peppermint helps to support our digestive system in that it allows for the effective, elimination. So if you've heard of, someone using peppermint for constipation, for instance, that's why. We need to be going to the bathroom at least once a day, if not twice or 3 times a day. And that was huge on my list of issues, was that I was constipated to the max. Well, not the max, but to a lot. And I didn't go to the bathroom sometimes for 3 to 5 days. And so that was in my 20s, and I never realized how important that was. And so then in my 30s was when I started really feeling the effects of all these toxins in my body. And how I expressed it was through my skin. And they say the skin is the last resort of the body to expel toxins. So I had really bad eczema, I had hives all the time, I have acne, and then I also had backache all the time. My immune system was really low. And like I said, I walked around with this belly that made me look like I was 4 months pregnant, because I was so small everywhere else, but my belly was huge. And I think I probably have relatives that have that issue too, because I remember my uncle, and he had to go for surgery because his tummy was just huge. Now, so that's the lemon, peppermint, and the grapefruit. So grapefruit has research showing that it helps the fat cells to release the toxins, and therefore then also like melts the fat. One thing we want to be sure is that we are, again, excreting all that toxins. We don't want, it's actually quite dangerous if you detox without any pathway for the toxins to exit the body. So while we're detoxing, we can take those 3 in a capsule. And really it is, you have to find a dosage that fits your body. So we generally say maybe 5 to 7 drops of each of those in a capsule, top it up with olive oil, and take it once, twice, 3 times a day for maybe a period of time, and also take breaks in between. So I generally just say, take weekends off so that you don't have to calculate how many number of days. And you're just giving your body time to integrate when it does that. But while you're doing that, it's important to then allow for toxins to leave your body. And so make sure you're going to the bathroom. And so with that, we have Comfortone that really helps with excretion. And we have ICP. There's a joke in Young Living that says ICP stands for IC poo. And so that is, we have 2 kinds. We have the ICP and the ICP daily. Now, ICP daily is just maybe a little more gentle, and it's a nice powder drink that isn't as, doesn't gel up as much, and it's a little sweeter. So it's more gentle to take. And so I like to recommend that one. So we're not, because with the ICP, you have to be sure to drink it real quick. And also sometimes some of us may actually get more blocked up. So you have to see what your body is, how your body is reacting. Then the next thing I would totally recommend is enzymes. So enzymes is going to help. Enzymes are catalysts. It helps our body to catalyze the, say, the digestive process, the absorption process, and enzymes are also delivery mechanisms of maybe the nutrients in your body. A really fun tidbit about enzymes is how they are truly quantum molecules. It has been shown that they can be in one area of your body and then just show up in another area just like that, wherever it is needed. So I really love that idea that we are walking, talking quantum beings, and this idea of the enzymes quantum tunneling goes where it's needed. So there is a protocol for enzyme ramping in our essential oils desk reference. If anybody wants to have a copy of that, I can send it out. But generally, again, it's all about following your intuition, but you are taking 1 a day and then 2 a day and then 3 a day, but you're ramping it up to the point where you're truly just excreting all that you are shaking loose in your body. Now, that would be a program in itself, but generally I take enzymes every day for my my regularity and to be sure that I'm not building up toxins within me. Young Living has quite a few enzyme products. We have Detoxzyme, Allerzyme, Essentialzyme, and the Essentialzymes 4. Now, if I were to pick any one of those for the purposes of just starting a new year, I would say start with Detoxzyme. And the general rule about enzymes is that when you take it 20 minutes, either before or after a meal, well, 20 minutes before a meal or right during the meal or right after the meal, that is going to help you digest your meal. But if you're going to take it in between meals, it's going to help you with your detoxing. So you really want to do both, but I generally take 5 Detoxzyme at night and in the morning and during the day. And while I take Detoxzyme, after my dinner, right before bed, I'm going to take Life 9. So Life 9 is the other one that we really want to pay attention to. So there's research out there that shows imbalanced gut, so gut dysbiosis, which is overgrowth of certain opportunistic bacteria or parasites or yeast in your gut, is going to lead to possibly more weight gain. And in fact, one of the revolutionary surgeries, well, not quite surgeries, but procedures, is taking the poop of a healthy, who knows what healthy really means nowadays, but a healthy person, and putting it in someone who's overweight, helps balances their gut dysbiosis, and then they start to lose weight. So we're not going to go there here, but we can totally help with populating our gut with the good bacteria. And Life 9 fecal transplants. Lisa, thank you. You saw that in The Good Doctor, right? So anyway, we populate with the good bacteria. Life 9 has 10 different strains, and I have tried a lot, but I would also say try that and try others from your grocery store, but supplement with, say, kefir, kimchi, sauerkraut, natto, all the fermented foods that can help your gut to repopulate with good bacteria. Kombucha, that's right. But we don't want to overdo it because, again, while we're in this kind of trying to balance out our gut, there are also reactions to the histamines in the fermented foods. So you'll have some people say, I cannot take any fermented foods because I have a histamine reaction. So while I say I'm gluten-free, I'm dairy-free, I'm egg-free, I truly want to get to a point where I can have those foods. So just like someone who say they cannot take the fermented foods, how can we get to that point? So currently I can take a little bit because I've gone through, it's been 12, 15 years now that I've been in this wellness journey. So now I can, I don't want to discourage you that it's going to take 15 years, but you get to a point where you can take a little bit of everything, and then you have all your friends from Young Living that can help you, the enzymes, the essential oils, and all of that. So my best best essential oil friend is Digest. So when I first started really taking care of my digestive system, Digest was what really helped me. I put it under my tongue consistently throughout the day, really helped the eczema on my face go away. And my reactions wasn't as severe. So I didn't look like I was 4 months pregnant after having, a bowl of noodles or something. So Digest for sure. And I talked about our detoxing organs. So we want to support our kidneys and our liver. So our kidneys, juniper essential oil is a great one, but an all-round good blend for our kidneys and our liver is JuvaFlex and GLF and JuvaCleanse. So any of these three, of course, JuvaFlex is the most affordable. But if you were to do nothing else and just got a bottle of GLF or a bottle of JuvaCleanse and did that for a while, you might feel huge difference in your energy levels, possibly in your weight, or even in cravings. So all this goes back to my whole philosophy now, after having gone through trying all sorts of diets and going through GAPS and keto, well, not quite keto, paleo, but now I'm sort of like gluten-free and dairy-free and egg-free for my eczema. It's about intuitive eating. So while we're doing all this physically, how do we enhance our intuition and our connection with our body? So that goes into the emotional side of connecting with our essential oils. And that is one of the best ways that essential oils help us heal. And you may have heard about when we inhale the oils, it goes into our limbic system. And in our limbic system, it is where we store our memories, our traumas, our emotions, and it allows for as the essential oil molecules go in and it connects with our receptor sites, it is going to help to clean out and to almost reprogram those molecules. So in conjunction with anything physical we do, whether, you've all heard it, right? It's like, get rid of the processed foods, don't eat the sugar, eat more vegetables and fruits, eat the rainbow. We all know that, but why don't we do it? Because our emotional body is needing some comfort, is needing some nurturing, and we're not quite pausing long enough to do that. So how do we do that? Well, first we use our essential oils, we breathe it in, and we can use a few different modalities. We have releasing emotional patterns with essential oils from Dr. Carolyn Mine. We have aroma freedom technique, from Dr. Perkins. And we also have just generally breathing the oils in through the feelings kit, the seventh heaven kit, and listening to Dr. Gary Young's tapes, where he takes us through all the different ways of using the essential oils. A very quick example is using Release. Now, Release essential oil blend has an affinity to our liver. And again, our liver is the processing organ for a lot of our toxins. And so we can put a drop of Release on our hands, breathe it in, also put it on our liver, and just allow ourselves to process through what we need to let go. And many times when we're holding on, yes, Lisa, when we're holding on to past memories of having been wronged, or we're unwilling to forgive, of course, there's also forgiveness, essential oil blend. We want to very consciously tell ourselves what we want and we want to release. So we can come up with the affirmations, you know, and Gary Young gives us a nice one, and he just says, let me see if I can remember it. I willingly and lovingly release all that no longer serves me. So that's one that Gary Young likes to use. And it's so simple, but understand that we are empowered to heal our bodies with our words, with our voice, with our intention. So as we breathe it in, we tell ourselves, I willingly and lovingly release all that no longer serves me. And so it is in layers, and it may take a while, but I would recommend getting the feelings kit as part of your regimen of, again, crossing that threshold of the new year and allowing for this conscious choice to be kinder to ourselves, to choose what our body truly would be nourished with. And so this idea of you know, no pain, no gain, I think is very much in the 20th century. I come from this place of honoring our divine feminine way of again, nurturing ourselves. And it's not about whipping and you know, discipline, but it's about giving ourselves the grace and accepting ourselves for who we are. And so, yeah, I think Teresa wrote it, Shelley. Here's another thing. Our Ningxia Red is an amazing powerhouse of nutrients, and it's like a multivitamin in a liquid. If we take that, let's say 1 shot in the morning, and we're giving ourselves that boost of vitamins in the morning, it is really going to help us balance our blood sugar. So, you know, many of us are moms in here and some are not, but one of the tricks of the trade, if you will, of being a mom to prevent tantrums, to prevent meltdowns, is to make sure they're well fed, right? When we are hungry, we cannot think straight. We cannot make good choices. And therefore, balancing our blood sugar is a really important strategy to make sure that we don't cave in to cravings. Ningxia Red can do that for us. So if you take 1 ounce in the morning, and then most of us have that craving after lunch. It's either our energy dips, hangry, right? Yeah. So our energy dips, and we know that we have responsibilities. We have the rest of the day, work day to go through. We still have dinner to cook. We have to take care of our kids when they come home from school. So our body, again, is an intelligent healing organism, and it's telling you we need that boost. So go get that cookie, or get that whatever's easiest from the pantry. And again, that's the other thing. What's in your pantry? Make the choices beforehand, before you're hungry, to stock your pantry with good snacks. So maybe it's really having that other ounce of Ningxia Red right then. And that being kind to yourself is saying, if I still need something after I have this, I will have it. I will not deny myself, because my body needs that energy. Now, if 50% of the time we no longer need it, that is considered a win. That balancing of your blood sugar got you through. If that next 50% of the time you still need something, hopefully the next like plan B is that in your pantry, you have some snacks that are going to nourish you versus give you a Band-Aid, and you might crash afterwards. So some examples of good snacks could be an apple with almond butter, or a protein powder drink with hemp seeds and maca powder that gives you that energy, or maybe some mushrooms that, they've been called mushrooms of immortality, right? Reishi, for instance, and you can make a drink with it. There can also be other kinds of snacks. If you're needing some protein, you could have some, boiled eggs in the fridge, or things like that, that allow you to just reach for it and give yourself that nourishment that your body needs. I don't advocate fasting, but there is good research around intermittent fasting, where, well, first of all, it's important not to go to bed within 3 hours of having had your dinner. There is research that shows that if you are going to bed before your body gets to a state of having processed the food, it tends to accumulate more weight in your body. The other thing too is, if you are, say your last meal is at 7 and you go to bed at 10, that's great. But if you wake up in the morning and you allow for at least 12 hours, if not 14, before your next meal, it really helps your body to prolong its need for that nourishment. And it's really, really important to drink lots of water when you wake up in the morning. And we like to drink lemon in the water, or take your lemon, peppermint, grapefruit. Oh, Jennifer, yeah, that's too late, yeah, unless she's going to bed at midnight, which again, we want to go to bed, I think, before 11 p.m. for sure, because all our organs in the Chinese traditions are going through its processes at night. Well, not all, certain organs. And so we want to give time for it to regenerate. And the liver, for sure, between, I think it's 1 and 3 a.m. But anyway, my point was, if you eat, at 9 a.m. the next day, and you wake up at 7, you really want to be drinking water. So you can take your lemon, peppermint, and grapefruit capsule in the morning, and you can drink water. That's how you flush your kidneys. And at 9 a.m. you can have your first meal. And so you're allowing your body to adjust herself or himself to this idea of not always reaching for food as a comforting mechanism. Yeah, you tend to be up from 1 to 3 a.m. So that is another clue of what organ needs to be supported. And so if you're up between 1 and 3 a.m., then take a look at your liver, support your liver. And we want to be laying down supine while our liver is regenerating itself and flushing. So you generally don't want to get out of bed even if you're awake at that time. Okay, so I've talked for a long time. I really want someone else to jump in, but Christy has not arrived. And so I was talking about intermittent fasting. So there's good research on that. The other point I wanted to make about that is that generally women tend to have less tolerance to fasting longer than men. So men, a lot of them prefer intermittent fasting as a way of taking care of their bodies. And sometimes they go as long as 11 a.m., 12 p.m. before they eat. But I'm not sure if women should do that. Our bodies really do need, yeah, exactly, Lisa. It is our adrenals start to panic a little and they start to go on overdrive, and then there's too much cortisol and adrenaline going through our body trying to keep us at a good sugar balance, and then we start to mess with hormones and all that. Yeah, so thank you for sharing that perspective as well, that you fasted too long. Okay, so let's see if I've missed anything. Now, you can think of it as the 3 R's. Remove the foods that don't agree with you. Replace the good bacteria, replace it with good nutrition. And re-inoculate, that's again the good bacteria. So in terms of emotions, I just wanted to put a plug in there with Dr. Carolyn Mind's system. I am her, I guess, her apprentice in a way, and I am hosting classes with her all the time. We are going to teach a class on emotional wisdom with essential oils. So check out my website, leanneanderson.com, if you're interested to find out more about that. If there's someone on here who wants to come on, tell me about your journey using Young Living essential oils with, weight loss, weight gain. I mean, sometimes it's weight gain, sometimes it's really with appetite, and orange is a good one with appetite. Emotion code, that's right, yes. So if you are on and you want to share with us your story, just unmute yourself and I would give the floor to you. Or raise your hand, or however you like to share. Or even if you have a question, I welcome any interaction right now. And Teresa is a certified emotion code practitioner. Message her for one-on-one sessions. She is Teresa Valmonte on Facebook, I believe, VALMONTE. Okay, that did not spell it right. Anyway, the 3 R's. So if you Google 3 R's, you'll see it. Some people have 4 R's, and it's generally the same. It's remove, right? So remove the foods, replace. There's re-inoculate. And there's generally a 4th one, which is not coming to me now, but you will be able to see it if you do Google it. LSH. Yes, a licensed spiritual healer. Okay, so both Teresa and I have gone through. Teresa, do you want to come on? Please tell us more.
Hi, I wasn't really planning to come on, but just to give everybody what emotion code is, you can always Google it, but it's a way to release trapped emotions just by connecting with the subconscious of, with your subconscious, and tap into the traumatic memories that are stored there that could be holding you back from accomplishing what you want. And weight loss could be one of them. So Lee did touch on that. And the traditional practice taught by Dr. Bradley Nelson does not involve oils, but because I'm a licensed spiritual healer, I do combine them with it. So most of you are already oilers here, so it's just a matter of using what you already have. But it depends. It really depends on what emotions those are, how deep they are in your system, and if they will be helpful for you. So that's all. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Teresa. Yeah, so I think actually emotions is more important than because we really, again, like I said, we all know what's good for us, but maybe we don't know which Young Living products to use to help us along. So I will talk a little more about my favorite Young Living products that help that. I mentioned all the rest before, but multi-greens is a great one for really energizing our cells. So our cells, someone mentioned adrenal burnout earlier. And when we get to adrenal burnout, our thyroid also becomes impacted. And when our thyroid becomes impacted, we start to gain weight because it no longer, so you can think of our thyroid as a mechanism for our metabolic rate. And when our metabolic rate slows down, then we start to gain weight. And so multi-greens really helps to just send energy to our cells. Of course, we also have Thyromin, which helps our thyroid, and then Endoflex, which helps our thyroids as well as our endocrine system. Now, if we had adrenal burnout, again, it has to do with our lifestyle and the way we are hard on ourselves, the way we push ourselves all the time. So I would totally recommend that we get back to living in rhythm with the micro rhythm of a daily rhythm of waxing and waning like the moon, and a monthly rhythm of that, and then a yearly rhythm of the seasons. So there's a lot to be said about that. You can, again, look it up or send us questions, but I wanted to stick to the Young Living products. So Powergize. Powergize was formulated for men, but it can also help women, gives us energy. And I would say the number one reason we are, addicted to coffee and addicted to sugar highs is because we want that energy, and everything is energy, of course. And there are ways to generate our own energy outside of food through a lot of energy work, which I practice, like Qigong, but through essential oils, we can jumpstart our adrenals by taking nutmeg, 1 drop, and not too much. Nutmeg is one of those that you really don't want to have too much of it because it doesn't help, but it gives you hallucinations. I've never experienced that, so I'm not speaking out of experience here. In fact, someone shared with me that using nutmeg on her adrenals actually helped her eye bags to disappear. And it kind of makes sense, actually, with food allergies. If you have children that you're feeling, are not regular in their bowel movements, and they're very easily their moods easily shift, and you see eye bags under their eyes, then consider that it might be a reaction to a food. Okay, so what else do you think of when you think of new year, new me, besides, you know, I think a lot of people would be like, okay, I'm going to start a new exercise regime or something like that. Tell me what you would. Yeah. So Lisa, it's either or both, right? So one drop, you can take it topically on your adrenals, or you can take it sublingually. We do have it as a vitality oil. And I would just say that maybe just put it on your thumb and put it up on your roof, because when we do that sublingually, sometimes 2 or 3 drops fall, and with nutmeg, you really don't want to overdo it. Let's see what else could help us with the new year. You're so welcome. So if cortisol, yes. Okay, so I mentioned earlier about cortisol overrunning our system, and we're in high stress all the time. And sometimes when it's the new year, we've been running, and we are not pausing, but we're still saying, okay, new year, new me, I'm going to do even more now. I'm going to get into a schedule and That just raises our stress levels even more. So cortisol is a great one to help with that on a physiological level. But again, we have oils that help us with our emotions. Reach for your stress away, reach for your peace and calming, reach for, one of my favorites is frankincense and lavender, just really simply sandalwood, use the essential oils to breathe. And one of the things I like to do is every 3 hours, I stop to take 3 deep breaths with an essential oil. And I pause, I come back into my center, and from that place, I make my decision about my next phase of the day. So just practicing that with no, hard discipline, just rest in that space and see what happens. Yeah. Sarah. Yeah, so Sarah is really going to help us with raising to our consciousness the buried emotions that we have experienced that have been sort of chronic abuse, and it makes us shrink, it makes us feel small. And so to allow ourselves to open up again, just make sure that you are giving yourself a safe space. Feeling safe wherever you're at in your practices is important. And that includes safe from yourself, safe from your inner critic and your dictator self. And so again, compassion. Okay, so we have time for more questions. I could go on and on and on. But again, yeah, think of your body as first starting with, your body is this complex system that everything feeds off each other. So, but if you're thinking in terms of energy, then your thoughts are where it starts. So if you're crossing this New Year's threshold with wanting to maybe make a choice to do something a little differently, then maybe start with your thoughts as well. And with our thoughts, we can use our oils that really, bring in the positive part of ourselves and highest potential, dream catcher, envision, live your passion, live with passion. So we have a lot of essential oils that can, inspiration, right? That just came back for a little bit. I made sure I didn't grab, but I made sure I ordered quite a few, because inspiration is one of those. Build Your Dream is another one. When it comes out again, it's again another seasonal blend. I will be stocking up on that because Build Your Dream is the only essential oil in Young Living that has blue lotus in there. And blue lotus is truly going to help us with how we align ourselves with our thoughts in this body. Yeah, so anyone who has had organs removed, thyroid, uterus, breasts, any part of your body that is no longer with you is still energetically with you. Just allow yourself to nourish that part of you, even as if it's still there. And again, we are powerful, energetic beings that are empowered to command our bodies and our cells and our energetic space to what we desire with our words, with our thoughts, with our intentions. Yeah. Okay, yes, sleep products. So I love the sleep tea and the tradition of having tea after a meal is because it helps us to digest the oils, as in oily food, after eating, and it helps with that whole process. But adding, cinnamon and copaiba in there and frankincense is like another level yet, right? Of really helping the body support the inflammatory processes within us. And cinnamon, of course, is an excellent one for sugar balancing and digestion. The Sleek Essence essential oil blend is also a great one you can put it in your water, have it while you're having your meal, you can put it under your tongue. With that, you just really have to shake it up because it does settle a little bit. So shake it up before you use it. And oh, is there a Melissa Peppings protocol? Share that, please. So yeah, you can do that. Now the Sleek capsules, the one where you take it as a program, of course, there have been so many success stories and so many of us have seen the before and after pictures. Again, if that is something that you want to pursue, by all means, go ahead and do all the measurements before, do all the measurements during and after, and just give yourself a pat on the back when you see the results. Whatever appeals to you, because we have so much. It's not about getting overwhelmed. It's really about picking something that fits your lifestyle and your intentions at that point in time. There may be people who say, I can't do that right now. And then there are others who say, I am so ready to do that. So that's the brilliance of how with our Young Living account, you can pick and choose what you want to do for this new year coming up.